Today, the highest levels of professional expertise happen behind closed doors. If you need open-heart surgery, you are wheeled into a highly sanitized, access-restricted suite. If a scholar makes a breakthrough, it goes through a quiet, anonymous peer review process before landing in an academic journal. In the early 1800s, these secluded spaces did not exist. Medical procedures and high-stakes intellectual debates played out in front of massive, rowdy crowds. To accommodate public demand, hospitals and universities built anatomical operating theaters. These were steep, multi-tiered wooden arenas designed to pack hundreds of paying spectators into a single room to watch a human body get sliced open. At the same time, a similar arena opened for writers and thinkers. The rapidly expanding periodical press of the 1820s created a high-speed textual stage. Journalists and editors engaged in fierce public feuds, performing for their readers in a competitive literary market known as the magazine. Why did the early pioneers of modern medicine and modern journalism rely on interactive public entertainment to fund and execute their work? Throughout much of the 19th century, an operating room was loud and filthy. Because anesthesia was not widely used until the 1850s, procedures like amputations were performed on fully conscious patients. Their screams mixed with the chatter of the crowd and the shuffling of boots. To survive this chaos, surgeons adopted the personas of theatrical showmen. Scottish surgeon Robert Liston regularly performed amputations in under 3 minutes while gripping a surgical knife between his teeth. He commanded the room with the flair of a circus ringmaster. The people filling the seats above Liston were a mix of medical students, curious fairgoers, and even the patient's own family. In charity cases, the law required the next of kin to be present. You can see this in Thomas Eakins' painting of a Philadelphia clinic, where a terrified mother cowers just inches behind the doctor's scalpel. When a surgeon entered the room, the galleries would erupt in applause. The spectators came to witness miracles, and their cheers validated the doctor's skill. A successful, flashy operation meant a better reputation, which directly translated to a more lucrative private practice. In a pre-anesthetic era, showmanship and speed were mandatory survival tactics. A slow surgeon lost his patient to shock, and a boring surgeon lost his audience. This chart shows the dramatic exponential spike in the volume of periodical magazines printed between 1800 and 1830. Cheaper paper and steam printing created a massive new public stage for intellectuals. Editors had to captivate this new audience to survive. John Fellwall edited the Panoramic Miscellany with the energy of a live, combative public lecture. He treated the printed page like the floor of a debate hall, using his editorials to launch direct attacks on rival speakers. These publications thrived on intense audience interaction. Writers for magazines like Knights Quarterly staged fictional mock trials, argued with their own pseudonymous characters, and printed aggressive letters from readers. They theatralized the very act of editing to keep their subscribers hooked. The financial pressure to retain those subscribers was immense. Editors regularly found themselves at 3 a.m, improvising poems and writing off-the-cuff reviews to fill blank pages before the steam presses fired up. Whether wielding a scalpel or a pen, the 19th century professional was a captive to the crowd. Their authority was rarely guaranteed by a degree. They had to act as entertainers because their financial survival depended on public applause. The first blow to this culture of spectacle was the adoption of anesthesia. By rendering the patient unconscious and silent, the frantic urgency of the operating pit vanished. Without a screaming, struggling subject, the dramatic tension of the surgery dissolved. The fatal blow to the theater arrived a few decades later with the discovery of germ theory. Medical pioneers realized that to keep patients alive, they had to achieve asepsis, the complete exclusion of harmful bacteria from the operating area. Doctors finally understood that packing hundreds of people into a dusty, unventilated room was a death sentence for the patient. The cheering spectators, many coming straight from the street or from dissecting corpses, were breathing deadly microorganisms directly into open surgical wounds. The response was a complete architectural overhaul. Hospitals erected impermeable glass walls to banish the public from the surgical floor. Blood-soaked showmanship was replaced by strict hygienic protocols and new physical barriers, like sterilized gowns and rubber gloves. The era of the medical showman ended here. In this new, sterile environment, a large audience shifted from a sign of success to a fatal liability. The intellectual realm mirrored this closure. universities modernized and compartmentalized their departments. As knowledge grew more complex, the flamboyant generalist editor was replaced by the specialized, credentialed academic, operating within the strict confines of peer review. Closing these theaters in the name of hygiene and accuracy was the right choice. It made medical procedures safer and drove scholarly research to new heights of precision. But while the physical doors closed, our hunger to watch the operation never faded. We simply traded the tiered wooden benches and 1820s miscellanies for primetime medical dramas and digital video essays. The experts may have retreated behind glass walls, but the audience never truly left the theater.